All right, welcome into our Saturday college football live. We are on to week 7. It is absolutely crazy we're this far into the season. I'm here with Ethan, just going through the slate here, talking all the games, the important games, kind of giving our bets. As always, I have way too many bets, but for those joining, if you have, just let us know in the comments. We'll try to jump to that game or talk about what you have there. But pretty solid day today. Again, couple of really big matchups with the Red River rivalry. That is a tongue twister. Number one, Texas at Oklahoma. We have obviously, I believe it's college game day. I haven't even turned it on my screen yet. But I believe that's Ohio State at Oregon. If it's not, then that's a joke. And then we have LSU Ole Miss to round off our phenomenal week of college football. Also, USC Penn State's out there as well. We did post all of our plays. In our YouTube video, Power 5 Picks. We do that every single Friday. So if you want to check those out, go ahead and check out that YouTube video. But Ethan, welcome. I know you are coming off a heater in college football the last 2 weeks or the last couple of bets. I know you had a pretty good run last weekend. Hopefully you can lean me into a couple more bets or make me a little bit more confident in some of the bets I've taken already. But how are you and how you feeling heading into the slate?
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned it. Well, first let me backtrack. Just gotta correct you. Red River Shootout. I'm not changing to Red River Rivalry.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a lot of R's for a person that struggles with the R sounding word.
yeah, because shootout is no longer politically correct. But
Okay.
bite me. Yeah, I get so annoyed with that. So I will still be calling it the Red River Shootout. But yeah, feeling really good about the run I've been on. 11 straight college football winners. Have not bet any of the weekday games throughout this week. I've watched at least some of most of them. Um, but yeah, have kind of held off. Starting to play it a little bit more selective. Not a ton jumping off the page today. I have made one bet, a 2 unit play so far, which we'll get into here later. But yeah, hoping to have another profitable week. I dug myself a hole in the first few weeks. I'm still down like 4 units on the year, but that was like 12, I think. So digging myself back out of that hole. Hopefully we get out in the next week or two and start profiting from there.
Yeah, I'm getting a little loose with bets. I am up almost 15 units this week so far, and it's just Saturday. But I have been notorious for struggling on Saturday, so I already have 11 plays bet. I have posted those over on Twitter like 30 minutes ago. So maybe a little too much, but again, when I'm up, I'm notorious for having massive slates and kind of throwing my money a little freely. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we'll start at the 12 o'clock slate. And again, if for anyone watching, just if you have a game you want us to jump to, let us know. And we can go, or a bet you want to talk about, let us know, and we can jump to that game. We have not the greatest noon slate. I guess the biggest games: Washington, Iowa, South Carolina, and Alabama. I know Clemson and Wake Forest are in there as well. Clemson is one of the most publicly bet teams. Another Big Ten showdown: Wisconsin, Rutgers. Should be a stinker, but we'll see. And that's pretty much it for the 12. So I do have, what do I have here? I have two bets at the 12 o'clock slate. I'll first start with that Washington Iowa game because we are not a or exclusive, but definitely a Big Ten backed podcast over here. So Washington coming off a big win against Michigan. Think they got up for that. It was a national championship rematch. Again, we talked about it. A lot of turnover from both programs. So coaches are gone, some players gone. So I don't know how much of the players were actually there for the rematch of the fact, but it was in the back of their head. In a big win, and now they travel to Iowa. That's a couple thousand miles of travel there. Iowa is we all know what Iowa is: defensive, hard nosed. That's all they do. Washington is known for their secondary, and Iowa is not known for their passing, as you guys all know. So I have Iowa to lock down the Huskies today. I didn't take the spread just because we saw them against Iowa State losing 19-20. All these games they play against decent opponents seem to be close. unless it's a big ranked opponent like Ohio State. But I'm gonna have an Iowa on the money line here. I got it at minus 145. Looks like it's at minus 140 right now. So pretty good steal there. But I think Iowa is just gonna be a little too tough for Washington. Again, Washington's great secondary doesn't is kind of left to waste against an Iowa run heavy team. So like Iowa to win this game. Also, Caleb Johnson to score anytime is almost free money if you want to take that as well. But do you have anything or leans on that Big Ten match?
I really don't. If I was forced to play the game, I'd probably look at the under, but it's not a game I'm super excited about. Had 2 units on Washington last week, so was happy to get out with the win there. But yeah, as far as the noon slate goes, I think I'm passing on the noon slate. Don't love many of the games. I have a few opinions, but
Yeah.
nothing too strong.
Yeah, I'll go to right to my second bet in the noon slate. I'm sorry, my dog is. I don't know if you can hear that. He's chewing on something down there. All my shoes have been destroyed, by the way. My flip flops have been. He just started eating shoes like a week ago, and now I have to keep them in like a closet. And I usually just, as soon as I walk in, just throw my shoes. It's just kind of what I do. All of my shoes, my running shoes destroyed, my normal everyday like sneaker destroyed, flip flops destroyed. So I'm wearing like moccasins right now, like slippers is what I wear. So it's a disaster. And he's chewing on. So I apologize if you hear that. But I kind of like this the South Carolina Alabama game here. I do have a bet in it, and it is a pretty ugly bet. But Bama, coming off that loss against Vanderbilt, it was a bad spot for Bama. We both were on Vandy on the spread. I don't think either of us predicted Vandy to win outright. But Vandy on the spread was 100% the play. Again, huge letdown spot for Bama. Now coming off a letdown spot like that, it's hard for me to jump on Bama again. I do think they're going to come out with steam, with momentum. And South Carolina is a scrappy little team, but I think there's a lot of pressure on Bama to blow the doors off of South Carolina. Um, that I think it might get to him a little bit. So I actually went an alternative route here and I took the under in this game and it's pretty disgusting. But it's at 50 and a half. Basically reverse line movement, major reverse line movement. We're seeing 80 something percent of the bets, at least let me check right now. We're seeing 90% of the bets now on DraftKings on the over. This line has dropped from 53 and a half down to, it got to 50 this morning, back up to 50 and a half. That late surge before game time. I think there's just too much pressure for Bama to blow the doors off. South Carolina isn't a great team, but they're fine. I would lean South Carolina spread, but I could see this being like a 23 to 10 type of game. I think this is going to be pretty low scoring. Bama, wins it, gets it done. I think they struggle to cover, but I also think they struggle offensively. So I like the under. I took the under 50 and a half. It's disgusting, but again, sometimes the ugly bets work.
Yeah, I actually like that quite a bit. Yeah, just a quick thought on the side. If it was still Nick Saban, I'd probably be all over Bama here. And I do think the 21 and a half, the hook on the 3 touchdowns, I think it's a little telling that they might come out and cover the game. But I'm just not super confident in that. So it's not a bet I'm going to make. Yeah, I think if I had to make a bet, I'd play the under. And I think I'd maybe even shorten it, go first half under. I think Bama could come out really flat, like you said. And yeah, I think their defense is not going to have too much of a problem stopping South Carolina. I think offensively it might take them a couple drives to get going. So yeah, I like full game under. I like first half under. Not sure if I'll play either of those, but you've piqued my interest.
26 and a half is the first half. That's such a weird freaking number. That's at plus 100 though, so maybe it's at 27 on most books. Yeah, you're much more of a first half better than I am, but that could easily be a play in that game. Nothing again in Clemson Wake Forest. Clemson is extremely public, but I kind of like how Clemson's playing right now. I'm not going to touch that game. Missouri UMass again. Missouri is extremely public, but I'm not gonna. Any Minutemen updates? I kind of wanted to take the Minutemen, but I'm not going to do it there.
Yeah, I kind of lean the Minutemen. This is one of those games where Missouri's paying them a shit ton of money to put them on the schedule, and it's the biggest game. Second biggest game. They do have Georgia later in the year, but biggest game thus far for the Minutemen, just as far as national televised and trying to kind of put your name out there. I know a couple years ago they played at Texas A&M, didn't win the game outright, but kept it close. I think they held A&M under what the spread was, so if A&M was like 28 and a half, I think they allowed like 23 points to A&M or something like that. So I think they have the capability to get up for the Missouri game. Obviously, Missouri coming off the loss is a little bit intimidating and keeping me off of this game. Had Missouri gone out and beat A&M last week, I probably would have been all over UMass this week. But um, yeah, I think UMass hangs it a little bit tough. I mean, keeps it within 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, we need to. I know we always talk about, the look ahead spot, the emotional hangover spot. We really need to dive into the data of what happens when you have like an emotional loss. Like obviously if you put in a lot of effort and lose, that's a different thing because that's kind of the same, kind of the emotional hangover kind of spot on a win. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the data is behind a really bad loss. And Missouri's wasn't a terrible loss, not as bad as Alabama's, but it still wasn't a great loss. So. Maybe I should start looking into to seeing if there's any system around that. Um,
And I,
Wisconsin Ruck. Go ahead.
I think about that all the time too. And I feel like it's a little bit coaching based. And that's just maybe I don't have any data to back that, but I feel like I don't know. Some coaches like Dan Campbell, I think is a little bit more resilient and will have his guys ready to go after a tough loss. Where maybe Nick Sirianni, I know we're getting into an NFL now, but I don't know. To me, it just feels a little bit more coaching based.
Yeah, and I remember as a player, like when you have a really bad team up, it's really like you keep telling yourself like, oh, we have to take this seriously. But at the end of the day, you're like, do we really? Like, it's really. But I guess after a really embarrassing loss, it would make sense. You would think they would get pissed off and try to destroy someone. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to look into see if we can find some sort of edge or system on that. I got nothing left on the noon. I'm not going to bet that Wisconsin Rutgers game. I would lean Wisconsin, but I don't think I'm going to get there. Pretty high total for those two teams as well. I don't know why it's that high, but yeah, you got anything left on the noon slate?
Yeah, just really quick bouncing back to the bad loss. Like that's what gives me some reserve too about Bama because they do have Tennessee on deck after South Carolina. So I'm like, do they really care about South Carolina here? Like, do they want to have the bounce back, feel good win, or do they want to get a win by 10 points and then try to play Tennessee tough? So yeah, just another little nugget to touch on that situation. But yeah, I really don't have much. To be honest, I'm probably gonna spend most of my noon slate watching like those two Maction games, the Toledo Buffalo and
Hmm.
Ball State Kent State, just because I'm not super caught up on the MAC this year. And once Maction rolls around, I would rather be a little bit more caught up. So yeah, I'm probably as of right now, I'm just gonna pass on noon, maybe turn those two games on, have some other TVs with some of the bigger games, but use it more as a learning time, I guess.
Yeah. Also, we got the Tigers. What time are they at? Are they got moved up, didn't they?
Yeah, they're at 1.
They're
108.
at 108.
Should
Okay.
touch on them too at some point.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's just move on to the 3:30 slate. Again, it's a late action-packed week day today. A lot of good late games, but we have the Red River Shootout. Thank you for not making me say rivalry there. Number one Tech. Wow. Texas is 17 points now. Son of a
Really?
bitch. Texas is a 17-point favorite. Over under is 49. I locked in Oklahoma at the 50 and a half. I'm seeing, yeah, what? That sucks. I mean, obviously, public coming late on Texas. Oklahoma has a bunch of injuries, so that's probably the cause of Oklahoma's collapse in the spread here. I still like Oklahoma, but I kind of don't like that I have that bet now. Basically my thought process was Quinn Ewers is back for Bam or for Texas. He's starting. I like fading quarterbacks coming back, just like we were. I was fading Cam Rising last night. Like fading Quinn Ewers, and I also like the spot for Oklahoma because of all the injuries. No one wants to bet on a team with injuries, and I don't think you can ever put an appropriate price tag or appropriate betting movement on guys being injured. And I think Vegas overreacts and the public overreacts. So that's kind of why I was really liking Oklahoma, but it just dropped another point and a half since I took it, no joke, 30 minutes ago. So yeah, that sucks. That sucks. I still lean Oklahoma, but I definitely would probably stay away from that game at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away, but my movement tells me maybe Texas is the play. But yeah, I don't know. I can see it going either way. I mean, I hate that Texas has Georgia on deck. I
Right.
can't look past that. So yeah, again, it's probably a pass for me. I just
Yeah, maybe the under. I mean, that's a really low under for these two teams.
yeah.
That could maybe be a play that I don't know, man. I'm upset that I have action in this game, but you need to have I don't know. That sucks. Let's just again, if we can figure something out about why it's moving so much, we'll get back to you. But Penn State USC, I've actually locked in a bet in this game, and I really, really, really don't like it. But we both were in agreement on this game over on Power Five Picks, our weekly college football show, and we were both in agreement on USC. And I stuck to it, and I unfortunately didn't get the +4 that it was on Thursday, but I got the +3.5 on USC. Weird game. I don't know really why people are or why the Lions moving USC's favor. They're at home, but they don't have a whole lot of home field advantage. People don't go to USC games. They just lost to Minnesota. I understand Penn State has to travel, but Penn State is Penn State. We all know them. They're the cover kings. They're probably the second best team in the Big Ten. Number 4 team in the country is very overrated, but yeah, I guess I'm gonna trust it. I think USC is sharp, and again, I don't believe in this program. I think they're a bunch of pansies. I don't think they're that good, but I think this might be a game where USC possibly wins outright. But um, hopefully they can keep it close and can win or can lose by a touchdown or less here. So I got USC at the +3.5. Don't enjoy it. Don't enjoy that I have money on these Cali boys, but I think it's the sharp play.
Yeah, again, it's not one that I love, but I'm with you. I mean, if I play it, it's gonna be USC. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of said it in the Power Five show. I just think Penn State's so much better.
Yep.
But the line tells me USC is probably the side. I don't know. I mean, USC is 2-0 at home and 0-3. Or well, that first game wasn't a true road game. I don't think. Um, no, it was in Nevada. So yeah, that was basically a home game. Um, yeah, 0-2 on the road. So maybe they do play better at home. I don't know. I Last week I ended up going 9-0 last week, 8-0 on Saturday, and I kind of just went through the time slots. Didn't lock much in before noon, just kind of took it as it went. So I'm gonna kind of just end up doing that again today, um, since it did work out so well last week. So I might get involved on USC. Um, it's probably my strongest lean that we've talked about so far.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. Again, it's ugly. It's ugly. I'm not proud that I have it, but I do think that might be the sharp play of the day so far on the Trojans. But yeah, it's pretty gross. I'm not proud. Do you have anything else at the 3:30? I do not. The other games we have here, um, Cal, Pitt, Stanford, Notre Dame, Purdue, Illinois, Memphis, South Florida, Cincinnati, UCF. I do have.
Yeah,
Go ahead. I do have something on the 4, but nothing on the 3. The rest of the 3:30.
yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that four game. I did see your side. Um, I know I think a lot of people like Cal this week, but it's hard for me to look at Cal when they lost the way they did last week, up 35-10, and ended up blowing that game. So, again, it's one of those, do you pick yourself up off the mat and come out angry, or do you come out feeling sorry for yourself? So, uh, just don't know if I can get there with Cal. I kind of like Virginia +7. I think it's a pretty public side, which makes me nervous, but we've been saying it for a couple weeks now. We just don't think Louisville's that good. Virginia's kind of a sneaky 4-1. They're actually not bad this year. I was on them last week against Boston College, which I kind of lucked out on. They were down early in that game, 14-0, and came back, scored 24 unanswered. I think they were laying like 6.5. So nice little late rally from them, but My gut tells me they probably keep it close with Louisville. And then just one more gut play that I have, which is going back to the noon slate. I don't know why. I kind of like North Carolina. They're +3.5 at home against Georgia Tech. Um, just kind of a gut feeling that they're probably the right side.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were a little thrown off from them after they lost to Duke and then they got destroyed by James Madison. Well, they put up 50 and got destroyed. So you do the math of how bad that game was. 120 total points. So I think a lot of people are a little hesitant on North Carolina. I'm just
Yeah.
reading Ben Fox's little tweet out
Also,
here. Go ahead.
also lost to Pitt last week, North Carolina.
And lost the Pitt. Is that 3 in a row?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Pitt's also is this first week in the rankings, I think.
Yep.
Okay. And they play Cal.
Yep.
Okay. Here's what we got from Ben Fox. I looked at it. I actually clicked his link for the first. Well, I usually don't, but respected money on NC State +3, Cal +3.5, Illinois -23, Ole Miss -3.5, and Memphis -9. In regards to that Texas Oklahoma game, um, all the money is mostly coming in on Texas right now. I expect more Texas money coming in on Saturday. Like I think what we're seeing, will end up the sports books will end up wanting Oklahoma to cover this number. But right now it's not too big of a need. Ohio State at Oregon. Ohio State's currently at -3.5. We'll probably going to 3 soon. Uh, Decent handle on this game. Ohio State money line definitely popular early this week. The line didn't move much from the game of the year. It's mostly Ohio State. Sorry, I'm trying to proofread, and then say what I think is important. It's mostly Ohio State money coming in. It feels like it's a spot where we're going to need Oregon. Okay, that's what I needed to read. Okay. So that 2 big games, according to Ben Fox, he says Oklahoma and Oregon, and then again his sharp plays from over 100. This is what he got, over 100 of the best bets from respected handicappers: NC State +3, Cal +3.5, Illinois -23, Ole Miss -3.5, Memphis -9. I don't have any plays in those games, but Cal maybe. I don't know. I like fading Pitt after getting in the rankings, but like you said, Ethan, I do think they're a pretty publicly tracked team. Sorry, I was just trying to read that while I thought that was interesting. That 4 p.m. game, I'm assuming, are you in agreement with the Arizona BYU game?
Yeah, and just really quick, that might be enough to get me on Cal. I might end up playing Cal +3.5.
Okay. Yeah,
And then also
I'm locked.
my
in.
2-unit
Go ahead.
2-unit play is one of those games you just said there. So we'll get to that later. It's a night game, but
Okay. Lovely. I can't wait. 2-unit
yeah,
college football for Ethan on 11-0 run. Sign me up.
yeah.
So this 4 p.m. game, I do have a bet on. That is Arizona at BYU. I have taken Arizona. I got them at the +3 about an hour ago. I'm seeing them at +2.5, -105. So probably right around +3. But from what I'm seeing, 90. This is DraftKings again, one of the most publicly bet books. So it's not as accurate as some of the sharper books, but 90% BYU minus the 2.5. Line has moved down. I think BYU open is a 3.5 point favorite, so it's moved down a whole point. I have seen on multiple books that BYU is a public team, and so we're seeing some major reverse line movement. Arizona is a team I really enjoy betting on because they're the same exact team as they were last year. There's no difference. They are good only against bad games when they're underdogs. They're terrible in games they're supposed to win. It's the same shit as they did last year, and it's one of the most teams that is. Utah. Well, Utah's not the same as the last year, but I got a good rate on Utah right now. But Arizona is a team that I got them figured out. They're going to win this game outright against BYU. It's what they're going to do. I don't know who they play next week, but they're probably going to lose or barely win against some terrible ass team. It's just what Arizona does. So Arizona is going to win this game. I'm not super sold on BYU. They've screwed me a couple times this year, so that's probably why I'm a little salty. But Arizona this is just what they do. They play spoiler. They'll get into the rankings for a week and then get knocked out by a Washington State or some BS school like that. But yeah, I like Arizona. I think Arizona wins outright, but I got them at the +3. Love this game. Only have a unit on it. Just I do a bad job of allocating units to my favorite plays. But I like Arizona quite a bit. I think they win outright.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna end up joining you on that. Arizona does have Colorado on deck, so I hope they don't come out and get their doors blown off them.
Okay.
But yeah, I think similarly to what you were just saying, I think Arizona does so much better as the hunter rather than the hunted. Um, they came into the season, I believe they were ranked in the preseason
Hmm.
poll.
In the teens, I think
Um,
like 17 or
yeah,
something.
yep. Um, so they're still a good team. They just have those two losses, and they don't have the number by their name like BYU does. And really, this is more of a fade on BYU here. 5-0 to start the season. They are off the bye, so I feel like they're just probably very confident in themselves. They think, oh, we'll just keep doing what we've been doing. They just had a little bit of a vacation. Um, Probably not putting a ton of extra effort into this game. They have a standalone Friday night ESPN game against Oklahoma State on deck, which is a game that coming into the year they were probably a little bit more concerned about, even though Arizona was a ranked team. But yeah, I just think BYU is probably feeling really good about themselves. Thinks they can just come in off the bye week, rested, at home, just get a nice easy win, and I think Arizona's gonna be hungry off that loss to Texas Tech. So yeah, I think Arizona wins outright. I'll probably join you. Hopefully, I can still find a +3 out there.
Yeah, I'll probably do a little underdog parlay this week. Again, I am up a little bit, so I might get a little crazy, but I love Arizona as a great underdog. Like, wish I paired it with Arizona State last night. I was on that. If you did follow over on Twitter, was on Arizona State money line and spread. Was a little. Well, I went to bed, but it looked like it ended up being a little bit of a sweat. But yeah, Cam Rising is old news. Mississippi State or sorry, Mississippi State, Georgia at 4:15. I got nothing on. Florida, Tennessee. Or sorry, now we're at the 7 p.m. Florida, Tennessee. Uh,
Quick touch on that Georgia Mississippi State game. I've heard that the sports books actually need Georgia in a big way this week, which is super weird. Because they're usually the most public bet team. But I'm seeing 86% on Mississippi State.
whew.
Um, but Georgia does have the road game against Texas on deck. Um, they only beat Auburn by what is that? 18 points. And Mississippi State hung close with Texas last week, only lost by 22. So I think it's just the recency bias. I think people are like, oh, Texas couldn't even blow out Mississippi State. Now it's Georgia. Georgia couldn't blow out Auburn. Um,
Yeah, I'm locking
so
in
Georgia
Georgia as we
probably,
speak.
yeah, they probably throttle them.
I looked at them early in the week because they were who are they playing again? Mississippi State was one of the higher publicly percent teams, like you just mentioned, and the line moved from 32 and a half to like 34 in favor of Georgia. So a little over reverse line. I think it's down at 33 and a half again now. But yeah, I was looking at that one earlier. I was like, I'm probably not going to bet that because it's a worthless game. But yeah, yep, 33 and a half. I'm locking it in as we speak. One
Yeah,
unit placed. All right.
this game probably finishes like 55-10
Wow. Okay. I like it. I like it.
or worse, 55-3. Mississippi
Okay.
State sucks.
They do suck. They're terrible.
They're god awful.
They're terrible. All right, that's up to 12 bets now for me. Um, okay. I like it. I like it. We're on to the 7 p.m. slate. 7:30 slate. We have Tennessee, Florida. I got nothing on. Anything for you there? Florida's pretty bad.
Yeah, this is a sell high on Florida, a buy low on Tennessee for me. So I like Tennessee quite a bit. It's not the play I've locked in, but yeah, I've been against Florida all year. Sure, they beat Mississippi State and UCF. Turns out neither one of those teams are really that good. Um, Tennessee off the loss last week to Arkansas. They do have Bama on deck, but again, the 14.5, similarly to the Bama 21.5, it's just a little telling that they're leaving the hook out there. Looks so easy to take Florida on the 2-game win streak to cover 2 touchdowns against Tennessee, who couldn't even beat Arkansas. Not sold on that. I think Tennessee is so much better than Florida. So I think we're getting a nice discount based on Florida's loss and or Florida's 2-game win streak, Tennessee's loss. So I will probably end up having a unit on Tennessee minus the points.
Tennessee, you said, does have Bama on deck?
Bama.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. I'm seeing a lot of people on Washington State. I'm not going to touch that game. They're playing Fresno State, but I've seen like I follow a decent amount of guys over on Action, and it's like 10 people on Washington State spread, no one on Florida or Fresno State. So don't know what's going on there. I'm not going to touch it. I think it's not a game I really want to get involved in, anyways. Um, North Texas, I made a video about earlier this week. There's some major reverse line movement in that game in favor of Florida Atlantic, but again, not a game I really want to bet. Too many good games tonight. Too much going on to be betting on North Texas FAU game. And then again, stop me if we're skipping a game. But that brings us to our two big games tonight. Number 2, Ohio State at number 3, Oregon. That is college game day. And then we do have number 9, Ole Miss at number 13, LSU. I have bets in both games. I have actually flipped my stance on Ohio State, and I am back on they're plus 3.5 now. I'm back on Oregon. I got Oregon at the plus 3. And then I am still on LSU. I have them at the plus 3, but I don't love the LSU game. It's more of a bet out of hatred for Ole Miss. I actually hate both teams. I don't really know why I got involved, but don't like that game as much. I kind of have grown to really like Oregon in this game. Ohio State is a very public bet team here. Oregon, preseason, you can't really look at it too much, but it was -1 in this game when they predicted it back like in July. Obviously, Oregon has not looked great, but I'm not super sold on Ohio State, like I said. So I'm going to take the home team there. I don't really like it, but I have bet Oregon on the spread there, and I also have Ole Miss in a very similar spot as the home dog. How about you?
Yeah, I still like Oregon in this game. Again, not a game I'm just crazy about. I guess my best bit of insight here. I hope Oregon goes out and wins this game because they have a Friday game on deck at Purdue, cross country, and then after that have Illinois and Michigan on deck, 2 ranked teams. Major sandwich spot. It's like going to be a hammer spot for Purdue plus the points.
It's
It's
a
going to be
game they
30
win.
some odd, 30 some odd points. Friday, dude.
That's a Purdue money line.
That might be a Purdue money line. I hope Oregon wins this game, and I will hammer Purdue next Friday night. So I might get involved on Oregon by the time kickoff comes around. As always, I'll tweet out the plays I make, but yeah, I hope Oregon wins because I'm already salivating a little bit looking at Purdue.
I love it. Yeah, keep moving on. I do have a bet in that Vanderbilt Kentucky game. I actually just made a video on that this morning. Vandy obviously coming off the win against Bama, which is unbelievable. I think that's their first ever win against Bama, first ever win against a top 5 team. We all saw it was a great win, but there's no bigger hangover than after doing that. I mean, players were crazy. We saw the fans take the goalpost all the way to the river, which was 2.4 miles. They carried that freaking goalpost through Broadway Street, through the bars, threw it into the river. Pretty funny. But now they have to go to Kentucky, and people are really high on Vandy here. A lot of bets coming in on Vandy. Again, they just beat the number 1 team in the country. They kind of are this playing spoiler team, but we're forgetting that this Kentucky team actually isn't terrible. They lost by 1 to Georgia, I believe, at home. They beat Ole Miss. Who else? Did they lose last? Why are they unranked now?
They're off a bye, but they lost to South Carolina. Got blown out.
Okay. I love Kentucky. I'm all over Kentucky. Got them at the -12.5. Vandy's a good story, obviously. They beat Virginia Tech. They beat Bama. I just think Kentucky is, they're not terrible. They're actually much better than I thought they were going to be. I think Kentucky honestly rolls in this game. I think they win by 3 touchdowns. So I got Kentucky on the spread. Also, reverse line movement here. Vandy was plus 11, plus 11.5. They were receiving on DraftKings. It's not as high. 59% on DraftKings, but it was at 80% on Action over there. Line got all the way up to 13 and a half. It looks like it's back down to 12 and a half coming in. The Joe Schmo just woke up and is on the couch, play some bets as we speak, and hammering Vanderbilt. So, yeah, I like Kentucky to win this game pretty easily. I got them on the spread here.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people on Vandy this week, which makes me nervous. and I think it's just because Vandy's better than what we're used to them being. But yeah, I mean, how is this just not a hangover spot? Also, I can't believe it's legal, I guess, to carry the goalpost 2.4 miles and throw it into the river. It just feels like something that the cops would be all over.
Well, I saw
But
like
they're
the cops like on Broadway, like all their cars were parked there. You know, they were patrolling, and the guys just walked right through the cars with the goalposts on. Like, I think it's kind of the mob mentality. As long as they're not like
yeah,
destroying storefronts and stuff, they're just gonna let them do it. But
right.
and then what are they gonna do? Charge 50 people with a misdemeanor? I don't know.
Right.
Well, it might be a felony stealing that. And I don't know.
It could be like stealing. It could be like property
Littering.
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah, I think it's
yeah.
I don't really get the whole thing of tearing down goalposts. I'm here for it, but did you see the
It's kind of
did you
it's
see
kind
the
of amazing to me how easily they look to be torn
snap?
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the Vandy like grounds crew people like on Monday? It's like a Twitter video or something. It's like the head grounds guy looks exactly like you imagine, like overweight gentleman, like glasses, nerdy. He brings like his whole team up and they're like sitting outside the stadium or sitting in the stadium, and he has them like sitting in the bleachers and he's like giving them like their Monday rundown. He's like, so we lost a goalpost last weekend. Obviously we're not happy about that. But there's nothing. And it was just funny. Like he was sitting them down. Like they just, they're probably supposed to not let that happen, but
Right.
instead like they just lost the battle in war or something.
Right.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Um,
Um,
Go ahead.
Fox did just tweet lopsided sides by total bets at DraftKings 90% BYU minus two
Whew,
and a half.
wee.
Give me Cal.
Yep, I'm
No,
locking
not
that in.
Cal. Not Cal. Who's BYU playing?
Uh, Arizona.
Arizona. Give me Arizona.
Zona. He also has Boise State on there, Missouri on there, North Texas, Syracuse, Ohio State, Bama, Army, Tennessee, Clemson, Illinois. God, BYU, Arizona's winning that game outright.
Give me those Minutemen.
Who are they? Oh, Ole Miss.
Missouri.
Or sorry, Missouri. Yeah. Okay. God damn it. I'm writing it down.
Probably don't. Probably
Okay, I'm out. Iowa State, West Virginia. I do have a bet in this game as well. I have West Virginia on the spread. I do think West Virginia wins this game outright as well. Obviously, Iowa State, number 11 in the country, pretty publicly bet team here, seeing 63% on DraftKings. The line has moved a little bit in their favor. I had West Virginia at +3. It's at +3.5 now. -115, so I guess it's still probably right around -3. But I like our +3. I do like West Virginia in this spot. Again, we talked about it on Power 5 picks. I think Iowa State's a little overrated. Great atmosphere for West Virginia. Night game. Guys are going to be rowdy, so I like West Virginia in that. I have I have two other bets tonight. I'll just say them out real quick, and then I want to hear your two-unit play. I do have UCLA on the spread here at home against Minnesota. Unfortunately, I did not get them at the open at the 5.5, but I got them at the +4. Weird line again. Minnesota coming off a big win against USC. Wow, DraftKings does have UCLA a little bit of the public team there. But yeah, I mean, UCLA is very bad. They absolutely have no home field advantage either. No one even goes to their games. But I don't know. I don't think Minnesota is very good. It was a good win against USC. I know they battled with Michigan, who sucks. So I'm going to take UCLA in a gross spot there. Lines moved 1.5 points pretty sharply. So I'll take UCLA. And then I do have Hawaii tonight as the nightcap, 11 p.m. Eastern time against Boise State. Obviously, Boise State kind of catching the nation by storm. You have what's his name, Genti or whatever. Probably the Heisman leader right now. I have my own thoughts about that. Phenomenal running back, but again, how good are the defenses he plays against? Anyways, I like Hawaii in this game at home. Boise State does have a bye on deck, but it's a really long travel. Got to be like 4-hour flight, time change. Love Hawaii to cover this game. Don't think they win, but I do think they keep it close. Boise State's defense is ass. All they got is Genti on offense. So I like Hawaii to keep it close, but if you have anything on those games, let me know, or just I want to hear your 2-unit play.
Yeah, so I lean Hawaii as well. I also have my own thoughts about Genty. He's going to have one bad game, and his Heisman run is going to be over. So I wouldn't bet him to win the Heisman. Even back, I had a coworker bet him at like 10-1, which now it looks pretty good, but I was like, I wouldn't do that. He's going to play one team and, just get stopped, or he didn't even play the second half last week. Like, they're going to protect him, and it's just hard for me to see him actually winning the Heisman. So, but I've heard a lot of sharp money is coming on the under in this game, which really intrigues me. Public obviously is going to be all over the over because everyone's going to be drinking throughout the day. It's the last game. People love overs in general. So it's probably going to get bet up another notch or two. So depending on how today goes, depending on what I'm doing tonight, I might get involved on that under. But yeah, Boise State is kind of like last year's Colorado. I think with Genty, everyone just loves him now. Everyone loves the story. Everyone's a Boise fan. Everyone thinks he's going to go score 5 touchdowns. If he gets 5, it's going to go over, right? I don't think so. He probably gets 2. So yeah, I think Hawaii is probably the play. I think the under is the play. I might get involved on that under.
Let me
My
butt in real quick
y-
there.
yep.
I know college player props aren't as bet. I can't even bet them here, so I'd have to go on my bookie. But when are we going to start taking Genty to not score a touchdown? He's like minus 5,000 to score every single week. What's him to not score? It's going to happen one game.
Did you
It's
see what
not
his odds to score 3 were last week? Which he
minus
did, but
140. I don't know.
155.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's going to happen one. Maybe it won't. Maybe it won't. But it's going to happen one game. I feel that he doesn't score. Either,
Yeah.
God forbid, gets injured or just gets stuck. I don't know. It's hard to score in every single college football game when there's 13 of them or 12
Yeah.
of them, whatever it is. So I don't know. Could be a fun bet or a
Yeah.
miserable one.
He's minus 6,600 to get in the end zone tonight. It's ridiculous. But yeah, my 2-unit play is NC State +3. It might be down to 2.5, 2 now, but just a fade on Syracuse. Syracuse is off a Friday night game at UNLV where they won in overtime. So kind of have that emotional hangover here, feeling pretty good about themselves. Now they have to travel to NC State. They have Pitt on deck, undefeated Pitt. That game is unfortunately a week out. They do have a bye next week, but then it is a Thursday game, so it's not like a true 2 weeks off. I really wish it was this upcoming Thursday. I'd like it even more. But NC State came in with high aspirations this year. Obviously, haven't looked that good. They're 3-3. They're off a loss to Wake Forest. They've I don't put much of this into the handicap, but they've one loss, one loss, one loss. So the pattern would tell you they win this game, which I don't use any of that towards the handicap. It's just a weird note, but yeah, I just think they're getting slept on a little bit because of their record. It's more of a fade on Syracuse. I think Syracuse thinks at this point they're just a way better team. They can just go kind of get an easy win here, and I don't think it's going to be so easy for them. So I like NC State. Like I said, I got them at the +3, but I think they win the game outright. Syracuse, very public. NC State, very sharp. So
And just locked it in. So
Like
plus
it.
2.5 now, which is unfortunate, but hopefully this went out right. Is what's his face alive, or is that guy dead?
McCall.
Yeah, he
McCall is
might be
alive.
dead. He got destroyed one game, like worse than Tua concussed. I don't know if he's doing okay, but
Yeah, I don't know.
all right, I like it. Do you have anything on the Tigs or anything on the Tigers you wanted to mention? I don't. I haven't even looked at it yet. But we do have a winner go home game for the ALDS or ALCS.
I mean, you're gonna be laying chalk. Let me go see what we're looking at, but I'll probably take the Nerfy. I've taken it in every Tarek Skubal playoff start this year. It's hitting all of them. You're laying typically like minus 160 to 170, but I think it's worth it. It's minus 190 on DraftKings. Shop around because they usually have some of the worst Nerfy odds out there. So you can probably get it like a minus 160 somewhere. So I'll probably be on that. Matthew Boyd pitching for the Guardians, who is he's an ex Tigers pitcher, so I think he has a little extra juice in this game. You mentioned it before the show when we were just talking. The bats for the Tigers have not really looked so hot. The top of the lineup hasn't been that great for the Guardians. Um, yeah, I'll be on the Nerfy more than likely.
Yeah, I'm seeing. Looks like Cleveland's pretty public. What's up? That I'm not gonna try to pronounce that last part of your name. What's up, brother? How you doing? Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just so obvious to take the Tigers with Scooby on the mound. I'm gonna be rooting for him. I might just stay away, honestly. Um, the one bets I was thinking of betting would be Cleveland, which I'm not going to do because I'm not going to root against my guys, or Scooball over hits. Seen a lot of people on that, but I also just want Scooball to go lights out. So I'll probably just stay away, honestly. Way too many bets, anyways, in college football. I do like the Nerfy. I have not been taking it straight, but I have been adding it to a couple of same game parlays, and it is a nothing more refreshing than winning your first leg of a same game parlay in the first inning. So I have been tailing a couple of those Nerfies. They are pretty free bets. I know the Tigers had a run in the first inning in game 3, but Scooby wasn't on the mound. So, um, yeah, I like it. We got about 20 minutes to kick off here. We do like to hop off a little bit before so we can finalize our bets. I have tweeted all of my bets. I have 2 more to add. That is Georgia on the spread and NC State on the spread. But besides that, I have 11 other bets. I'm not going to say I'm all in the show because I'll be talking for quite a while. But all those have been posted on my Twitter. That username is at worst bets. Looking forward to it. I'll give my favorite couple plays here. I love Arizona. I think Arizona wins outright. Um, that should tell you with that pause what's my next favorite because I have no idea. Arizona's my favorite play. Arizona on the money line is or the spread is my favorite play tonight or today. Love the Wildcats. I think they went outright against BYU. Second would probably be I don't know. I don't have a second. So just one favorite play for me.
Yeah, my top three, the one I locked in, 2-unit play, NC State +3 is what I got them at, but I think they went outright, so I think you're probably safe at a 2.5, which is I think where the line is universally at right now. I'll back Arizona as another favorite play of mine, probably my third favorite, and then I think Cal might be my second favorite. Have not locked those two in, but probably gonna get there sooner rather than later. And I am shopping right now, but I'm going to lock in the Nerfy for that Tigers game.
Yeah, I'm gonna lock in
Being
Cal
minus
too.
175 is the best I've found so far, which I'm fine with.
Yeah,
It's a lot, but
that's not terrible. What was the NC State? Did I add that one? Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna lock in Cal too. But thank you guys for joining. Ethan, thank you for joining as well. Again, like getting off a little early so we're not freaking out with bets. But again, follow us on Twitter. We're live every Monday. And then we usually have an occasional weekend live like we do today. We might have one tomorrow as well for some NFL fantasy football insight. But we appreciate you guys for hanging out. Good luck if you're betting with us. If not, maybe next week you will, seeing that hopefully we do well. So, Ethan, do you have anything to add before we sign out?
um, we'll be back on tomorrow, I think, for a little NFL rundown. So join us again tomorrow if you are looking to bet the NFL. I think we've both been running pretty hot in the NFL recently as of the last couple weeks. So we'll be back tomorrow. Be back Monday. Um, yeah, sports are rolling right now, so a lot to talk about. Yeah, hope everyone has a nice, winning, profitable day.
Yes, we will see you guys tomorrow. Good luck and good scores and Godspeed. See ya.
See you guys.